spinning. Hi, everybody. Super excited to have my friends Hilary and Scott here to talk about what is happening in the real estate market and kind of the end of the year predictions for the second half of 2025. So, I'm super excited to have Rhode Island here in the house and Virginia. So, it's fun to hear all about everything. So super excited. What are you guys seeing in the market now as far as like days on the market and inventory?
So I'm seeing a lot more days on market. I'm definitely seeing people are frantic. So we went from less than 1,000 properties in the state of Rhode Island on the market. 1,000. We were probably at less than 1,000. We were teetering on like 1,100 for a while, single family, multifamily, and condo. That's like, think of it this way.
So how many people live in Rhode Island?
1,119,000.
A lot of people. Okay. Like nobody leaves. Once you buy there, nobody leaves.
As of the 2024 census. So at 1 million people, we had like 1,000 properties on the market active. We just passed over 1,600 properties, which is insane. That's almost
40%.
That's definitely a significant increase. And I'm seeing people are coming off their properties, but I think a few are at this cusp of maybe not being able to afford it, holding out, things like that. I'm seeing a bit of that. I am seeing some movement. A lot of people are coming from from Virginia. A lot of moves coming from Virginia because of Terry coming up to Rhode Island for our base. So stuff still needs to move. It's just a matter of the fact that a lot of people held off their payments for so long on their houses. And I think some people are starting to get a little in trouble.
Upside down in their houses? Mm-hmm. Wow, we haven't seen that, but the days on the market have moved for us to like 57. Inventory's gone up like 20%, but we're still in a seller's market here. We still don't have enough inventory. I think we're at like 2.4 months of inventory.
Okay.
What about you, Scotty?
So with us, we're definitely in Hillary's situation. So I've been tracking the numbers since March 1st of 2005. I do it every Friday. I'd heard that there was 148 contracts on one house in Arlington. And at that time I did.
What?
Yes.
It's insane.
2005. March 1st of 2005 was a crazy market, was it not? So
I got it in 2007, so I don't know about 2005.
Oh, there you go.
I just missed it.
You got it.
Hilary probably wasn't born in 2005.
Right.
She was born in 2006.
In Fairfax, Arlington, Prince William, Loudoun, Alexandria City, Fauquier County, and all the cities in between, there were 1,652 houses for sale.
Wow.
And then by November of 2006, there were 22,898. And so our market obviously crashed in 2007.
Yeah, that's worse.
We had a ton of, builder inventory on the market. We had a bunch of distressed properties just coming on the market and all that. So in the pandemic, the low we had was the last week of December, where we had 967 excuse me.
What year was that, Scott?
967 houses for sale.
Wait, so, what year are we talking now?
So it was the last week of December in 2022.
Okay.
So since then, we've seen a gradual increase. This past Friday, we had 3,600 houses for sale. Okay. So it's still very low for the number of people that we have in our area. But the thing that's crazy is obviously the media. And the media is saying that Doge has, inventory surging. So the question I ask people is, 2 weeks ago, we had 3,502 houses, and this week we have 3,600. So 98 net new houses on the market. Is that a surge in inventory? Not even close.
No, I don't think so.
No, of course not. So you can't listen to the media and get in and buy or sell a house today. You really need to talk to a trusted real estate advisor to get the right information about what's happening in the market.
So true.
Yeah. Right now, we've been maintaining between a 1.3 and a 1.4 month supply of houses for the last 2.5 months. Yeah. We're pretty steady.
So you're still in the seller's market too, then?
We're still in a seller's market. Yep. Something comes on the market that is priced right and the right condition and a good location. We're still seeing multiple contracts and prices escalate above list price. It's when people are making bad decisions, they're putting on their house too high in price, or they're not doing what they need to do to get their house in shape to sell. They're the ones that are languishing on the market, and then we're seeing price reduction. So
that's very similar to us too. It's like if you price it right, it's staged right, it's good to go. It's multiple offers. I mean, I'm still seeing the highest amount of offers I saw was 45 here recently. That was a lot.
Recently, that's good. Recently,
yeah, and they were like, just put it on like a letter of intent, which is a one pager here. They're like, don't even bother with a real purchase and sales agreement, just a LOI on a one page. Like they filtered through 45 by the end of the night. I mean,
yeah.
Holy cow!
Well, that's crazy. We haven't had that many in a couple of years. The most I've heard recently is 14.
Yeah, that's pretty. I'm seeing a lot of that too. I've put a couple offers in where you're anywhere between 4 to 14 has been kind of average if it's the right property.
Now, let me ask the two of you, what about prices this year compared to last year?
Whew.
Have they leveled off or are they gone down? We're still going up, but slowly.
Yeah. So we service two markets. One is Northern Virginia. The other one is Greater Piedmont. So Greater Piedmont's more towards Central Virginia. Down in Greater Piedmont, prices are up 11% year to date over last year. And in Northern Virginia, they're up at 6%. So we're still seeing robust price increases. Now, what's interesting is I don't know if you guys have Get Smart Charts or not, but it tracks all the numbers. And we did see a decrease in median sales price last month from April to May. We don't have the June numbers. We don't get those till July 10th, but prices went down 1.5% month over month. So, and again, and days on market increased at that time too. But again, there's a lot of people overpricing their houses, which is the issue.
Yeah, I 100% agree. That's what everybody's saying. I was starting to see prices go down. Well, no, they're actually not going down. Just sellers are getting a little bit more realistic and realizing they can't. I mean, they missed the 2022 market of being able to just list it any price you wanted to.
Right.
Right.
Scott, I don't know if you're seeing this, but we have like a seasonal lull here kind of in June sometimes. There's a little bit of a transition we see with summertime people, colleges coming out, kids still in school in June. There's a little bit of a lull, but it's not to say that the serious buyer is not out there still.
So this is our busy time here.
Okay.
We're at
a little bit of a lull, and then it picks back up because we only have 3 really pretty months in Rhode Island. So there's a little bit of a slower time for us in June and July, and then August picks back up, and then the rest of the year,
You think people are like vacationing during the summer?
They're vacationing here.
Yeah. Not looking at houses, they're vacationing.
Yeah. It's a lot of people that are transitioning from summer to winter. So we do have a little bit of a lull. There is a little bit of a transition with military too, because military comes in the middle of July. So it is kind of quiet this time of year. Usually military's in, but outside of that, I do see.
So, Hilary, are you seeing the prices stay the same, go up or down? What are you seeing?
I'm seeing a lot of decreases, but again, to echo what Scott said, if it's priced right and a seller is going to put their best foot forward, it's going a little quicker.
Yeah.
Those are the two combinations that if it's done, but we are seeing a decrease and days on market are ticking up and then the decrease is coming in, but we are seeing, when something was in this area priced at $1 million, it's now listing at like $850.
Oh wow,
that's a big decrease.
Yeah,
it's moving quicker. It's just
the prices are not there.
Our average is
I know like
125-ish or so at one point.
I talked to Florida agents and Texas agents, and it seems like both of those have gone down pretty significantly. I mean, I think the market's still great. But the prices have gone down. So we haven't seen that yet. It's always kind of interesting to kind of watch those trends.
Yeah. Austin, I heard, is taking a beating. Orlando is really slow. And their inventory is way up. We're maintaining inventory. And again, the layoffs from the federal government really haven't affected us as much as the media says it has. And, because it's only 9% of our total workforce in Northern Virginia. So, there's other businesses that are still hiring, and, our unemployment is still like 3.4%. So we're below the national average for that. So I think we're in good shape. But unlike Hilary, our slow months are like the second half of July through August, and then we pick back up in September. So here, schools start anywhere from like August 10th to the like August 24th time frame.
Yeah.
So their kids are going back to college, kids are getting into school. So, we've kind of passed our surge in sales, I think, and I think we're going to see slower sales for the next 2 months and then pick back up again in September.
And that's interesting. I've been telling my sellers that I think that, if you want to sell, now is the time to sell. I think we're going to be more prices starting to go down a little bit and things taking a little bit longer. We're already starting to see that. But our average days on market is 57. But I tell them, like, hey, I don't have a crystal ball, but every single person I've talked to across the country, their prices have gone down and ours haven't, which is nice, wonderful, but they will. I mean, you do see those trends, and it takes a little bit longer to hit different areas, and it might not hit the same, in the same way, but I feel like it's coming.
Well, and if we think about it, I mean, we've been on an upward trend this whole time for almost 5 years. We've had very little glimpse of a down market. So having something where there's a lot of agents around the country I've talked to, and they're like, oh, this is my worst year. Some say it's great, but there's a lot that, are saying it's not as great of a year. Yeah. That's to say, I mean, we've been on this massive upwards trend for so long. I think people are holding out. Buyers are kind of shifting to the buyer market a little bit. They're getting a little savvier. And unless that house is priced perfectly, they're getting pickier.
Yes. Yeah. Well, they can.
And they can. They're like, oh, there's more inventory now. Exactly. While there used to be shy of 1,000 properties in the state of Rhode Island, now there's 1,600. Yeah. Like they have more pickings than they used to.
Yeah.
Say that's much.
Yeah, but it's good too. I mean, right? I mean, the prices, the COVID prices were crazy. And Scott, you've been in real estate longer than I have. I've been in since 2007. So 18 years. But we've never seen price increases like they did ever in history. I can't find anywhere.
So the prices did go up dramatically here in Northern Virginia. 03, 04, and 05 went up 22, 28, and 23% respectively. Wow. And then they came down like 40%, 08 to like 10.
That's when I got into real estate. My mom was like, really?
I got in 88 is when I got in.
Dang. So, when you were 5 years old when you got in.
Yeah, right. So, the prices were definitely crazy, but it was, we didn't see the huge price increases like everybody else did. And that was one of the things I was telling people is that we're still undervalued, even though our prices are up. Because if you compared us to, Chicago and
don't say that too loud. We kept saying that, and we went sky high.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're like at 6% right now, so it's not hateful. I think it's a more reasonable number for people to digest. I just want to see the prices go down. I mean, at one point in time, we had an 11-month supply of houses, and I would not have anybody through a house for 6 or 7 months, no showings at all. So.
That's like when I first got into real estate. I would tell it I'd have to get the sellers to sign a 1-year listing agreement because the average days on the market was between 9 months and a year.
That's normal. That's so 6 months to a year. And it's so funny, all the new kids who are getting into real estate now, you got to have the wherewithal in this business. It's not immediate cash. It's not. It's literally a relationship business that you got to just hustle every day.
Yeah. So then what's the advice you're giving your buyers right now that say, hey, Scott, Hilary, I want to buy sometime in the next year? What's the advice you're giving them as far as the market?
So my advice is I say get in now. Best time to buy real estate was yesterday, right? And it doesn't matter where rates are. You can always refinance later. But again, with the way the prices go up, if it's a long-term investment for you and you're not looking to flip a house, then you're going to be there 3 to 5 years. You're going to see the appreciation. Yeah. We're going to continue to have low inventory, as we know, because people are interest rate locked. There's just a report that came out that 33% of baby boomers are never going to sell their house. So we're going to have restricted inventory because they're the largest homeowners right now.
10 years. 10 years. I
Yeah.
keep hearing that too. It's like 10 years. So 2035 will probably be able to come off of it because that baby boomer, they're holding the majority of the ownership of the house.
So then the market's still going to go up in that, right? Because it's
limited supply.
Limited supply. That's right.
Limited supply, and we still have more demand. Yeah.
It's not going to stop.
So then what's the advice you're giving sellers? Hilary, you take it this time. And then we'll come swing back to
sellers. It's really putting your best foot forward because there's such more of a pickier, limited buyer pool, and the people who are coming through are also. We're not looking at the rates anymore. We're really. That's what I love about this market is like we're looking at the price. We're looking at what am I buying for this price. Now there can be a little negotiation sometimes, but the buyers I'm working with are not as obsessed with the rates.
Yeah, agreed. Mine have quit talking about the rates. But like clean your house, declutter. Yes. Holy cow. Paint, do what you need to get rid of the stains and the odors because the inventory is going up. And buyers.
They've settled into the price. They've settled into the numbers, like 7%, 6%. I think we're okay. We're comfortable. We understand the rates are the rates at this point. I think the biggest thing is, well, what am I going to get for $1 million now?
Yeah. Gosh, is that your average price point, Hilary? Is $1 million?
In the area, yeah. Like a specific area, Newport area, yes.
Yeah. Our
average, not the whole state, but yes, it's over 500,000 for the state of Rhode Island.
Wow. Our average is 560. Our median is more like 470. But wow, what about you, Scott? What's the advice you give your sellers?
So it really is, again, as you mentioned, condition dependent. If their house is in the right condition, we got to get in the right condition first. But earlier today, I had a meeting with a seller in Clifton, Virginia, which 20124, houses on less than a half an acre. Have that are in that zip code. There's only 3 houses for sale.
Oh, wow. So
if you're going to list, you should list now because you have no competition.
That's right.
There's 6 under contract. Wow. And in the last 90 days, there are 24 that settled. So it's a great market for you to get into right now, but they have work to do. So we're not going to just throw it on the market because it won't sell in the condition it's in right now.
That's right.
So they got to do the right things. But I mean, when it's a situation like that, it's full steam ahead, right? Because you have little competition, and again, tons of buyer demand. People want to be in that school district, that location's close to employment centers and major highways and so forth. So it's everybody has a different situation, and if you have a condo right now, they're not selling. There's just with the way that getting loans on the condos these days is so difficult, and having to jump through hoops to get VA or FHA financing on them is just so difficult. So if you're going to go into a high rise and there's 30 places for sale, it's like it's a bloodbath. You should rent.
Yeah.
It's so funny you mentioned that. Our condos here are like really cute 100-year-old houses that were converted from what should be a single family into like 3 units or something like that. That's pretty standard. And before COVID, they were very hard because your HOA is you and 2 neighbors, and sometimes you don't know who's paying what or who paid this, or someone skipped their HOA fee that month, and now you're going after you and maybe one other person. So the HOA is very small.
Right.
I sold one downtown, and it was just 2 people, and the buyer's asking for the meeting minutes. They're like, us at the pub. They're like, our meeting minutes are us having a drink, literally at the local pub. Like that's how it is. So. But I hear you with that. It's, I hear all of that.
Yeah. Or if they're insisting on listing when there's 30 condos in a building, you give it to another person. you have that headache.
Yeah. I don't give it to your enemy.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So then overall, what's your advice to agents? Let's hear. I'm trying to read Nimesh's previously with real estate hyperlocal, so we know different. Oh, there it goes everywhere. However, as inventory increases and listings sit, we have multiple offers on homes. See, update their homes over others. Scott, you need to update your balloon, he says.
Hey, this was on one of my buildings before. And so I moved from, I can look at my old building over there. When that sign came down, the guy who leased my space redid that balloon for me. So
that is
it's
funny.
old school.
Yes, that's right.
2001.
See, I love it. So then what's the advice you're giving agents? What advice are you giving your agents, Scott and Hilary?
So right now, the biggest thing is they have to work.
Muscle through. This is not a quick thing. This is not. It's put your head down, work, and it's not going to come in 2 days, which I think, Selling Sunset and those types of shows sort of show.
Yeah.
I mean, I had an agent on my team who expected, things to come a little quicker. I'm like, it's a day-to-day grind. It's a constant, it's a relationship building grind.
Yeah,
I would agree. What about you, Scott?
Send 5 text messages, send 5 emails, and make 5 phone calls before you leave your house.
For one person or 5 different people?
15 people. Okay. 15 people, 5 days a week, 75 people a week. Then you're 300. What's that? 600 people a month, right? And if you're communicating with that many people, you're going to get business.
That's right.
And people who aren't getting out and aren't doing the little things. I mean, it's so easy to send a text. Yeah. Hey, I was just thinking about you. Boom. Hey, here's a quick market update on your neighborhood. Just thought you might want to know what your houses are selling for. And again, you just pick 5 people in each category to do it. And, you're calling them and say, hey, I saw on Facebook you did this, glad you had a great weekend. Or a friend of mine got a hole in one. You call them up and, you don't talk any real estate.
That's right.
And the emails are real estate. The texts and calls are personal relationship building touch points. And if you do that, and the other thing is you got to talk to other agents around the RE/MAX network and build your referral base. And I've had 6 referrals this year.
Yeah, love it. That's awesome.
I know. So it's just because of going and meeting people and talking to people and sending them information. On what it's doing.
Do y'all know Nadine Blakely?
Yes.
From Virginia.
Yeah.
She sent me 2. I had 2 closings this month. This month from Nadine. So super excited. And then Linda Wells. I have 1 under contract from Linda Wells as well. So yeah, you're right. Building that network is super important.
Yeah. So.
And Scott, how do you do it you have 145 agents that work under you? That's a lot. So
yes. So we do a lot of training. We have training every Monday and every Wednesday. And so we're out in front of the agents. We're talking about things that they need to do and people they need to talk with about the market. So like one of the things looking at how the market's going to turn out is, talk to your lenders and see how many new purchase mortgage applications they got. Talk to other agents and see how many people are coming to open houses. Look at the MLS and showing time and see what kind of numbers of showings are happening in the market. So when you go out and you talk to a seller, they say, how's it going to be if I put my house on the market? And you say, well, showings are down 30% from the same time last year. So they have the right expectation when they're going into to sell their house that they're not going to have the flood of lookers like other people had. So, we talk about things like that in these meetings so that the agents have talking points with both buyers and sellers.
That's smart. I think that's really good. We don't have showing time here anymore, and I hate the fact that we don't, because they used to give us really good numbers.
We don't really do it either.
We switched over. Well, y'all, you go and unlock your doors by yourself, right?
Oh,
Isn't Rhode Island weird?
Oh.
Like regular codes. Like we don't have Sentry Lock or anything. It's like regular codes.
That is crazy.
It's like we handhold people. It's like I've had it so crazy. Myself and another agent, vacant property. I'm like, hey, it's me on a FaceTime with a client. They couldn't make it. They were military. They just were like, I'm sorry, I can't do it. I said, okay, it's recorded. The agent shows up on a vacant property and it's just us like, hanging out. I'm like, I don't need to be here. Give me the code. Let me just recorded video and send to my person. I've got to edit it anyway.
Yeah. Well, here we use a company called Broker Bay, and they just don't have the numbers like Showing Time did. And I miss Showing Time. I miss seeing how many showings they had before you got it under contract and all the data. But
love that.
And Broker Bay has some of it, but every time I've checked behind it, it's all been wrong. So
we're trying to transition into it, but we've got a lot of old school in Rhode Island that don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine having to do that. At least when I got my real estate license, we had the MLS books, but we also had an online system, Daytor. But we
in '88 you had some online.
It was you had to be in the office. You had to dial up, put it on the modem and get into a system. Yep. So it was Daytor was the name of it. But we never had to have the hassle of going and meeting people at houses to let them in, or people coming to the office to get keys. We've had lock boxes from day one for me.
Yeah.
Wow.
So as long as I have been in real estate, we had lock boxes as well.
Yeah. It just makes life so much easier.
I wish.
So that's the kind of stuff we talk about: the inventory levels, the month supply. We also talk about rentals, so people know where the rental market is, to help people out with that. But it's and the other thing too, and you mentioned a little bit, Hilary, is the delinquencies, and so tracking that because again in 2010, 45% of our inventory was vacant.
Yeah.
38% of that was distressed.
Yep.
So, like right now, we have 8 foreclosures and 5 short sales. So we don't have
now into. I haven't seen any.
Yeah,
there was one that
many.
There was one that I actually had a listing presentation for, and I told them that their house was worth X. I said it was worth at the most $5 million, and they put it on the market with a different agent for 8.9. It ended up going to auction with an opening bid of $4 million.
Wow.
I love it.
Yeah, people get greedy. And did you see what Namesh said, Scott?
No, I can't see what that
He
says.
says, did you disclose of any dinosaurs back on the property back then?
Haha. Not at all, Namesh.
Hey,
No
we have a
fossil fuel.
checkbox that says, is there a cemetery on your property? So that's a real checkbox for us.
Wow.
Uh-huh. It's like literally, is there a cemetery on your property? Please disclose.
So people in Rhode Island, they used to bury their mother in the front yard or something?
Yes, and because it's so old, we have like Indian graves and stuff, but there are pirates buried downtown Newport below the piers, and it's pretty crazy because as we're getting the lobster roll, we know that there's like however many pirates are right below our feet.
That's kind of cool. I've never been to Rhode Island, Hilary. I need to come visit you.
Come, please come.
Yeah.
Well, when you blink, you're already through it.
What?
So when you blink, you're already through it. So you got to keep your eyes.
That is true. It's an hour north to south, 40 minutes east to west. But the crazy thing is that they actually buried the pirates. Where can I go? Right at the shore, like there, because then they were in limbo.
Oh, wow.
They literally buried them like between the sea
water and the sea.
and the land.
Wow. And did you see what Annette asked, or she said, is it true? She said you get tax savings if somebody's buried on your property.
No.
Okay. Maybe that's only in Arizona.
I wish, because it's almost as deadly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of like little tiny graves. There's literally a little tiny cemetery in my I don't want to even say neighborhood because it's a street and a half away from me, and it's probably like a 4-minute walk. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, and there's like 10 graves from back in the day.
Oh, holy cow!
1700s.
Yeah, we don't have that.
We don't have that here. We don't have that here either.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you guys. And Scott, you finally got on. I told you I was not shunning you.
Oh, I know. Hey, I need to talk to you though. I need to figure out how to use my camera.
Oh, call me. Yeah, you want to talk? I'll call you right after this, and we can talk about it if you want to.
Yeah.
I'll give you a call.
All right.
Yes, I am not an expert, but I know the basics.
Yeah, that's all I need.
He bought this camera, and Hilary, I'm sure you've seen it. I say the camera, it's right here. The Pivo. Have you seen these?
No.
It's the gimbal with the gimbal, and it's like the little.
Oh yeah. My photographer uses one of those.
Pocket 3.
Yeah.
And so I had it when we were in. I was at a with I was with Scott, and where were we? Houston.
Houston. Yeah.
And I had this, and I was taking videos of everybody, and
That's awesome.
so he bought one.
Yeah.
It's very easy to use for some people.
If you can use your phone to start and stop it.
Yes.
That's what I need to know.
Oh yeah, you can. Did you download the DSI app?
Mm-hmm.
And then you switch it to camera, and then you can start and stop it with that if you want to.
Okay. All right.
Is that the only question you have?
We won't bore
I
everybody.
have my Meta glasses. I just say, hey, Meta, take a photo.
No, you and the damn Meta. That still kind of creeps me out.
I say, hey, Meta, take a video, and it just goes, okay. Ding.
Yeah, that is amazing to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, y'all go have a happy 4th.
You too.
Yes. Happy 4th of
Thank
July.
you guys.
And let me know if anybody has any questions. Happy
Yeah,
to-
absolutely. I appreciate you both. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Talk to you later.
Bye.